it a great day to be out with the food fair?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, listen, it's going to be a little warmer today than it was earlier this week, but okay. 80 degrees in November is not too bad, right? Lots of places in the country would love to have 81 degrees for a high on November the 6th. We take a look here, 24-hour temperature cast. I do think a lot of us are going to get just up over 80 degrees today. Most of us are going to start well up into the 60s, and I think we're going to do it again tomorrow and all weekend. So it is going to be warmer than it was earlier this week. It is going to be a little warmer than normal. We should be back near 50 for morning low temperatures. We should be up in the mid 70s for daytime highs. So we're going to be running a little on the warm side, but just a little bit. It's not going to feel like it did in the middle of summer. It's not even going to feel like it did for most of the end of October. But what we are going to notice is an increase in that moisture. That east breeze will bring in some of the Atlantic moisture over the next few days. A lot of our focus is going to be south to see how this tropical moisture associated with now tropical depression Eta continues to surge north. So there are going to be some changes, but they're not all going to be bad changes. 65 right now in Tallahassee. We're at 61 in Thomasville. We're at 64 in Valdosta, and a pretty good breeze across the board, which is limiting any fog formation. Spots like Camilla and Bainbridge and Mariana and Blakely are the cool ones right now in the upper 50s. Everybody else low to mid 60s. Now, higher pressure to the north, the tropical system to the south, helping to promote that east wind flow, and that's going to be the main wind flow, I think, for the next couple of days. We're going to get more warm and more humid, especially as higher pressure moves away and that wind flow kind of increases a little bit, and we start to bring in not only the Atlantic moisture, but maybe some of that tropical moisture to the south too. And I think by the end of the weekend, South Florida is really going to get a surge of that tropical moisture. So it could be a really soggy couple of days down that way. And we'll have to see if any of that or how much of that is able to press farther north. This dark coloring here is where the center of Eta is right now. And there's some pretty good convection going on, usually a sign that some pretty good health to this system. The winds with it are 35 miles per hour. If it gets to 39, we start calling a tropical storm Eta again, and I do think that's going to happen. There's not a lot of things in its way over the Western Caribbean before it gets to Cuba that would slow it down or weaken it. So over the next day or two, as it gets towards Cuba, that's when I think it'll probably reach its peak strength. Now, once it gets past Cuba and it's got to interact with that land, there's going to be some wind shear working against it. There's going to be some cooler waters of the Gulf compared to the waters down over the Caribbean. So I don't think it's going to be able to keep getting stronger, but we'll certainly have to watch and see what happens with it. And even if it fizzles out, all that moisture is still going to keep surging north. It doesn't have to be an organized, classified, named system to spread that tropical moisture and change up our forecast. So that's what we'll be watching next week for our weekend. All right, small crafts, use some caution. It'll be a little breezy out there. Clouds on the increase too. Low tides, they'll be next up starting after 11 o'clock. 50s and 60s with a mixture of clouds and sun this morning. I think this afternoon we're talking top temperatures in the low 80s. Now, by tomorrow and the next few days, the morning numbers are going to stay in the 60s. Our rain chances are going to increase a little bit, and so will those daytime highs. Even with more clouds, better chances to watch those top temperatures climb maybe into the lower or even middle 80s.